First, fast, accurate. With Jennifer Copeland and Rick Shutt. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 6.
And we are following breaking news we first reported at 5. It surrounds the South Bend Police Department's 2012 wiretapping scandal. There is now a criminal investigation into the police department. According to court documents, Metro Homicide Commander Tim Corbett recently filed a complaint. He claims the police department violated Indiana's Wiretap Act by illegally recording his phone conversations. South Bend Police handed the investigation over to Indiana State Police. Now, a special prosecutor from Vanderburgh County is looking into this case. Just minutes ago, he told us this investigation could take weeks, maybe even months. WSBT 22's Suzanne Spencer is looking into this case, and she'll have much more for us coming up tonight at 11.
Well, new at 6, a Plymouth teenager shares her side of the story for the first time. That middle school student is talking about how she met a 21-year-old man who police say lied about his age to enroll at Plymouth High School, and why he convinced her to have sex and run away with him. WSBT 22's Kelly Stopczynski is the only reporter to sit down with the girl and hear in her own words how it happened and why.
The 14-year-old agreed to a sit-down interview with her parents' permission. In fact, her mom was in the room the entire time we talked. Even though we used the girl's face and her name last month when police asked for our help to locate her, we are now not identifying her because police say she's the victim of a sex crime. She says it started last fall with a friend request on her Facebook page from a man who called himself Faroukin Edition.
At first, if you would see the messages from the beginning when I met him, I was like, who are you? And how do I know you're not a rapist or just anybody? He's like, well, I go to Plymouth School.
She says the high school junior later told her his real name, Rigoberto Calix Reyes, and said he was 18.
And then I finally met him at the high school.
That was sometime this year. They began dating, doing things she'd never done before: sex, cocaine, marijuana, alcohol. And last month, the 8th grader says she got a positive pregnancy test. And whose idea was it to leave?
It was kind of a thing like that we agreed on, but he told me that he was gonna get in trouble for having sex with me because he's 18. And he didn't want to get in trouble, so we should leave. She says they first drove to Illinois to see his family and then to get money from another family member in Houston, Texas. And that is when the girl says she started seeing news reports on Facebook that Reyes may actually be 21. He lied to you. Police say he broke all these laws. Where did that leave you? I was scared. I thought I was like in some kind of danger where, like, my friends were messaging me on Facebook saying that he could sell me in Mexico. So at that moment, I was wishing I was at home. I wanted to talk to my brother or my mom, and he said no, he wouldn't let me do that. I asked him why. He's like, you should just listen to me and shut up. But police caught up with them in Texas and arrested Reyes. If people say that girl knew what she was doing wasn't right and she knew she was wrong, what would you say to those people? They have their own opinions. If they want to say what they want to say, it's all right with me. People make mistakes, and even if I made a big mistake, it shouldn't really matter to the people that want to bring things out on me, call me a hoe and everything, because I know I'm not. Reyes is now back in Marshall County. He's charged with sexual misconduct with a minor, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, and also forgery. Police say he forged a birth certificate he used to enroll at Plymouth High School. He told a judge yesterday he does not have a social security number, and the judge told him, look, if you're not a U.S. citizen and you are convicted on these charges, you could be deported. I'm Kelly Stopczynski, WSBT 22 News.
Downtown South Bend is getting a new upscale hotel, and the former College Football Hall of Fame, new life. Now,
WSBT 22's Zach Crenshaw is live downtown with more on the future sale. And Zach, what does this all mean for downtown?
Well, Rick, city leaders say it could mean a lot more than just reoccupying the old Hall of Fame building behind me. The deal means a brand new 5-story hotel. It helps the city pay off tax debt, and it could mean millions more for businesses in downtown South Bend. The sign on the former College Football Hall of Fame is a painful reminder of the breakup more than 2 years ago.
A lot of the future of downtown was in doubt. We were in a deep economic recession.
But this morning, the city is finally moving on from that breakup.
It'll be the grand entrance and lobby for a new 120-room hotel, major brand hotel in the downtown.
The 5-story hotel is going right next door on the Jefferson Street parking lot. Local hotel developer JSK Hospitality is buying the properties for $1.2 million and will invest far more than that over the next 2 years.
They're committing to spend approximately $10 to $12 million on the development. The city's putting in a $700,000 in TIF into the new project and offering a 2-year tax abatement on the current Hall of Fame building.
Basically, we want to do something nice and upscale, so with the Century Center right there, we want something that we can all be happy to, cater to.
The hotel will face the Century Center.
They're probably the group that's most excited about this hotel, knowing that conferences that in the past had wanted to be in South Bend, but had overlooked us because of the number of hotel nights they can offer. The ability for them to go and attract those visitors and those conferences back to the community is phenomenal.
JSK Development says they know how recognizable this property is in South Bend, which is why they plan to keep the turf, the flags, and hopefully some of that Hall of Fame brand.
So by putting a hotel and tying that history to a brand new hotel, people are going to want to say, hey, I want to stay there. During when Notre Dame football games come around, they're going to be one apart, hey, let's go stay at the Hall of Fame hotel.
JSK says they need to make sure they can use that phrase as part of their brand. But regardless of what the new hotel is called, it doesn't plan on leaving town like the owners before.
This is an area we're not planning on leaving anytime soon, so we're like, this would be a perfect fit.
Now, the brand of the hotel is still up in the air right now. JSK says they're looking into something upscale. Hilton, Marriott, Holiday Inn, and Starwood are all still on the table. Now, the company hopes to break ground in early 2016 and be open in the first quarter of 2017. The Hall of Fame building will also have a restaurant, bar, and be the company's new corporate office headquarters, as well as a 5,000 square foot open facility on the lowest level that will be open to the public, potentially a prototype lab or something with technology. Now, James Fillmore is looking more closely into the effect this is going to have on the Century Center and other businesses in this area. He's going to have much more for you on this story at 11. Reporting in downtown South Bend, Zach Crenshaw, WSBT 22 News.
Hi everyone, Matt Rudkin here. Red flag warning in effect. It's a rather rare advisory or an alert for our region. What it means is conditions are extremely dry and there's a decent amount of wind, and that can help to lead to very quickly spreading fires. Notice temperatures across the board in the mid-60s. The dew points are in the 20s. That gives us relative humidity values of 18 to 20%. That's extremely low. This is an air mass that's very similar to Phoenix, Arizona, or even Las Vegas, Nevada. With that said, if you had any plans to do any burning tonight, certainly hold off. Anything could quickly spread around tonight.
Yeah, we just have not had the rain, and that makes conditions like this very dangerous when you're
Correct.
talking about burning. WSBT 22's Patrick Roth has been monitoring several local fires. In fact, he joins us now live in St. Joseph County. Patrick, we just talked about these red flag warnings, and what are local departments saying? I mean, they're saying don't burn anything today.
That's right, Jennifer. Take a look at this. Look at just how dry this is. This is the perfect kind of kindling for a fire, and with the high winds we've seen today, it doesn't take much for a fire to get out of control real quick. That's something that local fire departments have been seeing a lot of lately. This fire here in Bremen started out as a controlled burn, but when the wind started to pick up this afternoon, it quickly spread out of control. And this isn't just a rural issue. It's dry everywhere, and as you mentioned, fire departments are saying just don't burn anything tonight.
Yes, a campfire could do the same thing. Even in your backyard, if you had trees around, leaves over on the fence line or something like that, it could catch them on fire too.
Now, the good news is, as Matt mentioned, rain is in the forecast tonight, and fire departments are hoping that that'll help quell some of the brush fires that they've been dealing with lately. Live in St. Joseph County, Patrick Roth, WSBT 22 News.
We have some breaking news out of Michigan City. Police are investigating a homicide. Officers were called to the 300 block of Holiday Street last night to check on a woman in a car. and they found the 31-year-old woman dead. Investigators say they are still notifying family members, so they are not releasing her name.
Well, counselors are helping students deal with the loss of a fellow student. 14-year-old Desjuan Sanders was shot and killed yesterday on Harrison Street in Elkhart. Sanders was a student at Tipton Street Center. Grief counselors and social workers were called to help students and staff deal with the tragedy.
It's always shocking and sad when we learn of the death of a student. What we try to do is support both our staff members and students in those situations.
Still no word on any suspects in this case.
New at 6, a fundraiser is planned to help pay for these Crime Stopper billboards that you see here. These are in Elkhart. It's from a cold case. 7-year-old Christiana Jackson was killed 2 years ago when a group of men opened fire on her family. Police hope these billboards will help solve the mystery. The Christiana Jackson Memorial Night and fundraiser is tomorrow night at 6:30. It'll be held at the Arthur DeCiccio Theater on Indiana Avenue.
Another great day, but Matt is tracking some rain. Your first alert weather forecast is next.
Now, your accurate first alert weather forecast with meteorologist Matt Rudkin.
Great day to be outside, enjoy the weather, maybe even go up to the lake.
I know. We encourage people to watch our newscast, but no hard feelings today. If your family members are outside enjoying. I want to show you a live look in St. Joseph. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the sun peeking through they're called alto cumulus clouds up that way, and it's very beautiful out there. Notice a little bit of buds there showing up on the trees. Saw a lot of the flowers starting to pop up. Things certainly starting to green up as well. All right, here's a look at your weather headlines for tonight. It's going to be dry, but then we'll start to see some rain showers move in very late tonight and into your early Thursday morning. On and off rain showers through the day on Thursday. And temperatures stay mild. What we're feeling out there right now, upper 60s, low 70s, that's typical of around Memorial Day. Of course, it's mid-April, and all good things must temporarily come to an end. And that'll be the case next week. It's going to feel more like late March next week, and I'll show that to you with the 7-day forecast. Temperatures across the area. The cool spot looks to be LaGrange at 61, at 66 at the airport, Benton Harbor, Michigan City, Plymouth, 63 in Warsaw, near 70, Rochester and Knox. Temperatures in the upper 60s down that way. Satellite radar composite. Notice how these clouds are darker. This is infrared imagery. That means those clouds are very light and they're not the thicker clouds. So sun certainly coming out that way. But some radar or some rain showing up on radar downstate Indiana and southern Illinois. That moisture is making its way up here. We've been talking about the dry conditions. It's going to take a while before the rain up in the clouds reaches the ground. A lot of that will evaporate before that happens. But eventually later tonight, you'll start to hear a little bit of rain, and certainly worth planning for your morning commute, some light rain showers. Temperatures on a wider scale. Notice out to the west, very mild for this time of year, so these temperatures will continue. Here's the surface map. As we get towards tomorrow, you can see some of that moisture start to make its way up northward, associated with low pressure. But then a cold front comes through, and there's not a lot of cold air behind this. As a matter of fact, on Friday, we'll be in front of this, so we'll actually see a surge of warmth before we cool down a little bit this weekend. Here is Futurecast overnight tonight. Some rain showers, 7 a.m. Notice the majority of it continuing to move to the north. We'll keep showers in the forecast, but the best chance is lunchtime and there before, after lunchtime, scattered showers to isolated showers at best. Here's a look at your WSBT 22 first alert weather forecast. 45 tonight, mostly cloudy. Rain showers developing late this evening and overnight. Temperatures in the mid-60s tomorrow. Best chance for rain in the morning. Then some peaks of sunshine by the afternoon. Mid-70s likely on Friday, so very comfortable temperatures. This weekend, still mild temperatures, mid-60s to around 70. Best chance for rain right now looks to be on Sunday. Next week, back to reality with temperatures in the middle 50s, which is pretty typical for late March. But all in all, the spring so far hasn't been too bad. It was rough to start with real cold temperatures, and remember we saw snow the first day of spring.
No, I've wiped it from memory.
I haven't, I wish, but this is certainly helping.
It is. Friday looks fantastic.
Yeah, fancy. You guys going to be here?
Are you going to be here?
I'll be
Bob
here.
Warner agreed to do the late shows, so I owe Bob.
So did I.
Yes, thank you.
I'll be here with Bob.
All right. So that may be worth tuning in for.
All right, thanks, Matt. Well, you have another. Sorry.
150 years ago, the nation was rocked by the assassination of a president. See how Abraham Lincoln was remembered today in our area next.
first to cover breaking news with Jennifer Copeland and Rick Shutt. Your accurate first alert weather forecast with meteorologist Matt Rudkin. And sports with Pete Byrne. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 6.
Did you hear those bells ringing at a rather unusual time this morning at 7:22? Bells in South Bend and around the country started ringing to honor the exact time of death of President Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln died 150 years ago today. John Wilkes Booth shot Lincoln at Ford's Theater on April 14, 1665. He died the next morning.
New at 6, a LaPorte County councilman says he has no plans to step down, even though he's facing drug charges. Matt Bernacki appeared in a Porter County courtroom today. He was arrested last week for dealing marijuana. Court documents say he gave the marijuana to an undercover officer.
A traffic alert in St. Joseph County. The new road connecting Fur Road to Capitol Avenue will officially open in less than 24 hours. A ribbon cutting and naming ceremony is set for 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. It'll take place on the corner of Capitol Avenue and the Parkway entrance. That road will serve as a new gateway into the north side of Mishawaka.
Certainly was a trying season as the Pacers have one shot to make the playoffs.
And what is Brian Kelly doing that will make this weekend's Blue Gold game different than any other? Pete's going to tell us next.
Now, sports with Pete Byrne.
Brian Kelly jokingly guaranteed a win in Saturday's Blue Gold game when we spoke to him this morning. The real question is, which side of the ball will be victorious? This year's version of the spring game will be scored as the Irish offense versus the defense. Perhaps the biggest change to the Blue Gold game this weekend, aside from the venue itself, is that the quarterbacks will be live. No red jerseys, which means Everett Golson and Malik Zaire can and will be tackled. And if they run the ball, which we expect to be an important part of this offense moving forward, they could get hit a lot. So why would you subject them to all that hit? Zaire and Golson have been competing for the starting spot all spring, and watching what they do when they leave the pocket is a critical part of Brian Kelly's evaluation.
What we will see in the first half, the quarterbacks will be live in the first half. You know, Everett and Malik will get a chance to, you know, really show themselves and be involved in everything within our game plan. You know, I just think both of them are, you know, guys that require that element in their game. Both of those guys need, you know, to be who they are, and that's who they are. They're guys that need to move in the pocket, and they make plays with their feet, and they both can run the football, and we want to be able to run them both.
May I have your attention, please? Those words became famous at Notre Dame Stadium over the past 5 decades, where after 55 years, Sergeant Tim McCarthy of the Indiana State Police is retiring. McCarthy became a cult hero of sorts over the years for his humorous anecdotes promoting safe, sober driving. The break between the third and fourth quarters will never be the same again. White Sox looking to complete a 2-game sweep of the Indians this afternoon. All players wearing the number 42 in honor of the late Jackie Robinson today. White Sox threatening here in the fourth, bases loaded, but Giovanni Soto takes a look at strike 3 to end the inning. The Tribe would put up a couple runs in the bottom half. Lonnie Chisenhall doubles into the right field corner. That's going to bring home a pair. John Danks gives up 4 runs in less than 5 innings of work today, and the Sox go down by a count of 4-2. The NHL playoffs begin tonight, where the Chicago Blackhawks will have Patrick Kane back in the lineup for Game 1 of their first-round series in Nashville. And for all practical purposes, the playoffs are starting tonight for the Indiana Pacers. Tonight is actually the final night of the regular season, but if they win, they will clinch the 8th and final spot in the Eastern Conference playoffs. If they lose, their season could come to an end. They will be at Memphis, a team with a much better record but with less to play for. They're fighting with the Brooklyn Nets for that final spot. So it all comes down to the last day for the Pacers.
Ooh, win and you're in.
Yeah, good pressure.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
We'll be right back.
Some rain in the 7-day forecast?
Yeah, much needed rain, especially tonight, but it's not going to be too heavy. The atmosphere is just real dry. It's going to take a while to get the rain down to the surface. Mid-60s tomorrow, mid-70s on Friday. 60s and 70s this weekend. Right now, Saturday looks like the dry day. Sunday, if things work out, could be a washout kind of a day. And it's hard to complain about that because we really need the rain, but I know it's also not welcomed on a weekend, right? Monday, more rain, and then we cool down and dry off for next week, back into the 50s. All in all, not too bad for mid-April. Very typical spring forecast right there.
Your eyes kind of zero in on Friday when you see that 73.
Close to Jennifer, working till midnight.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. All right, we'll see you later. Have a good night.